welcome to Detroit in Black and White. I'm Adolph Mongo. This is our Friday edition. We got a real special guest tonight. Before we bring our guest on, Attorney Vanessa Moss, how you doing?
I'm doing great this evening. How's everyone? Good evening to you and Allan, and to all those that are joining us on YouTube, Facebook, and all the other social media platforms. If you are watching Detroit in Black and White, we want you to join the chat. We want you to hit that like button. Hit that like button. Tell your friends about Detroit in Black and White, and we want you to subscribe. We're trying to get our subscriptions up, and we want to be in your regular algorithm. So tell your people about Detroit in Black and White. Hey, Mr. Duckett, put your comments in the comment section, and we will make sure that we acknowledge your comments.
Okay, Allan Lengel, the co-founder of Deadline Detroit. How you doing?
Good. Good evening. We had some interesting news this week, but
what is it?
Get it? Well, I mean, first of all, Ed Sarpolis released a poll on the mayoral race showing that Mary Sheffield, and people can dismiss the polls or whatever, but this is his poll, which Ed is normally pretty accurate, but we'll see. He has Mary Sheffield at 34%. He has Saunteel at 17%. He has Reverend Kinlock at 16%, and then Craig dropped from like 20%. He's down to 6%. So is Fred Durhal is around there. And then Todd Perkins is at 4%. And Joel Hashim is at 1%. And then we've got Jonathan Barlow, who's less than 1%.
Well, you know what I take from that poll?
Huh.
Mary Sheffield didn't move an inch.
Yeah.
She stayed the same way. And this is me talking. I'm not a poster. I think whoever finishes second to Mary Sheffield gonna beat her. It's gonna beat her. It's gonna beat her in the general election. She has not moved. Not moved. Not in the 40s. Not 38%. Not nothing. Nobody. The people that's gonna vote for her, they're gonna vote for her.
Well, I think she did move. She went, I think, originally back in February. I think it was 34%, dropped to 32%, came back up.
I still say she's toast.
Right. I'm not going to say she's toast, but it sounds like she has remained the same, which is very interesting because you've had all these other people that's in the race, which means you haven't moved up. You have not gained any more popularity or favorability. So this is going to be interesting. I still can't say who the who I think the top two vote getters will be, because when you talk to people in the street, I'm always out, as they say, I'm always outside. There are people saying that they don't think that it's going to be Councilwoman Sheffield. I don't know.
Well, we'll see. You know what, Vanessa, I hear that, and one thing about Sarpolis polls, because he do get it right 90% of the time, and he calls it like it is. The absentee voter, only about 50% of the absentee applications that went out has been returned. Mm-hmm. So you got 50% of the people that usually decide the election,
right,
haven't voted yet. So who
knows? Let me say this, guys, because I didn't get a chance to address you guys on Saturday when you were talking about forums, and I know that some of the people on the panel feel like it was too many forums and that kind of thing. But I actually think that, even with the crowd being a very crowded field, I think it does make a difference, because people are making their assessment based upon what they hear in these forums. And so I think it's important that we continue to have and support those kind of forums. It's a lot of people, but I think that those people who want to engage are given the opportunity to engage, and they're given the opportunity to say, hey, well, you know what? I didn't look at this candidate, but now I'm looking at this candidate. As a
But
matter
a lot of people going to these forums, Vanessa.
well,
That's my criticism, and the way the rules. Go ahead, Allan.
I want to say something, and we do have Saunteel is on deck here.
Okay,
my reading is I know you look at it like Mary's plateaued. I look at it like she's got that top spot, at least in the poll, she's got it wrapped up. And what's happening below is really what the activities happen is that people are bouncing.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't make it.
I'll be surprised.
You might be surprised, but I've been in this shit a long time, and I've seen a lot of crazy things.
You know more than I, but
no, I don't know more than you, because a lot of shit know more than me, Allan. This is just not my thought. Let's get
let me just say real quick. But so I think Mary's up there. She's got it. I think she's locked in the primary. What's happening? The real activity is happening below her. In that Saunteel's jumped up, Kinlock's dropped from 25% down to 16%. Chief Craig has plummeted from like 20% to 6%, and so there's a lot of activity
and Mary ain't moved a lick. You call 1% or 2%. Let's get.
Let me make one comment before you get Saunteel on. Just one comment. If the forums did make a difference, why are most of the candidates showing up at the forums? Because they believe
that's what they do. That's what candidates do. That's what candidates do.
Let's go touch another 10 people.
But wait a minute. That's what candidates do. Now, I'm not a candidate, so I can piss on forums and shit.
Oh, absolutely, and I can have a different opinion.
Oh, let's get Saunteel on there. Mm-hmm. Hello there, Miss Jenkins. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you all?
We came into a family squabble.
I hear it.
Go after each other. That's what makes this show good. How's the campaign going?
It's going great. There are a lot of forums. I agree with both of you. I think the forums are needed, but it would be good for candidates if they coordinated on when they were happening. Right, so that every day the candidates aren't going to 2 or more forums, because we could also, we have to knock on doors, we have to raise money, so I think it would be easier for candidates if, folks got together and decided we're all going to do one together this week, but we will continue showing. I will continue showing up. I won't speak for anybody else, because I do believe that it is a way to get the message out to the voters.
Vanessa, go ahead. You have the first question. Go ahead.
So I'm going to piggyback on something that we talked about this past Saturday. Mm-hmm. One of the things is we talked about retaining and keeping people here in the city of Detroit. I'm going to pivot a bit and talk about businesses. We have small Black businesses in the city of Detroit, and they've been here through, for a long time. Some of them, got squoze out because, people came in and bought these buildings and went up on rent. But those people that were able to stay, I'm hearing rumblings of people saying they're moving out of the city because, one, it's a lot of red tape. 2, they're bogged down with all these unnecessary fees, these drainage fees. If someone today said they went and filled out an application to get parking, and they were told they were denied, then they had to pay $1,200 when all they could have been told at the beginning was, this is what you need in order to get this passed. But that to me is a way to turn people off. And if you want a city that's thriving, if you want thriving neighborhood, because these businesses are neighborhoods, you got to have a plan to keep these people in these neighborhoods, these businesses open. So what is your plan?
Yeah, so I want Detroit to be the easiest place in the country to start or grow a business. So it starts with cutting small tape for businesses. And I probably said this at the forum you were at. It's a minimum 77 steps to start a brick and mortar business in the city of Detroit. In 2025, that is just ridiculous. So it's about cutting those steps. The permitting and licensing process should be about health and safety, not about generating fees. So we should utilize the state business certification process for businesses where it's appropriate. If you've been licensed by the state, you don't need to be licensed by the city of Detroit. Some types of businesses will need to be licensed by both. But if it's not necessary, why are we doing it other than generating fees? If we have inspections and you need 3 inspections, it should be 3 inspectors showing up on one day, not you scheduling and taking time out of your day on 3 separate days at 3 separate times for inspectors to show up. The other thing is as a part of my neighborhood plan and the strategic master plan for neighborhoods, once we have this plan in place and we decided how we're going to build out commercial corridors and office parks and the kind of businesses that we're targeting, if it is we want a technology park in District 7, then we should waive permits and fees for all technology businesses who are going to come and locate in District 7. If we need more coffee shops or daycare centers, we should waive the permitting and licensing fees for those businesses. And just in general, we have to make it easy, no matter what kind of business it is. We need to replicate best practices from places like Columbus, Ohio, who have one-stop shops for business.
Okay.
Let me ask you, some of the long-term businesses have always complained that the newer businesses get more attention, that they are kind of taken for granted. How do you plan to sort of balance that out so that the people who have stuck in there all these years get the same attention that the newer people are getting?
Yeah, absolutely. We would have a Office of Small Business and Entrepreneurship that really is set up to support our small businesses. And that would be certainly trying to generate new business, but we'd be supporting our legacy business. We would create a continuing capital fund to help small businesses in Detroit who need access to capital, because we know that especially Black and brown businesses, it's a lot harder to get capital. But just being a business in Detroit, period, makes it harder to get capital. So we will create a continuing capital fund that businesses can access. We will provide technical assistance for businesses, especially startup businesses, because legacy businesses who have been here, if they've been able to last, they've figured out accounting, they've figured out how to do taxes, and some of those areas where small businesses do need that technical assistance. But we would definitely be focused on making sure we help our legacy businesses thrive as well.
Well, if you was elected mayor,
Mhm.
and you move on to November and get elected, what kind of Detroit are you going to find? Is it a Detroit that all these folks saying, oh, we're going to miss the current mayor, he did this, did that? Or is it a Detroit that people going to have to wake up and say, you know what? We're going to have to tighten our belts and make some tough decisions.
Yeah, I think it's going to be both Detroits. It's going to be a Detroit where we still have people saying the mayor did some wonderful things, right? The last 10 years, we've made a lot of progress, and we were able to make progress because we came through a bankruptcy and we weren't strapped with the kind of debt that we've previously been strapped with. However, the benefits that have been enjoyed over this past decade won't be there for the next mayor. The benefits that have been enjoyed for the last 5 years won't be there for the next mayor. We won't have a windfall from Washington, D.C. that will help this next mayor build out parks and sidewalks and supplement staffing and the kinds of things that the city's been able to do with the nearly $1 billion in ARPA funding that has come to the city. So this next mayor will have to tighten their belt. They'll have to make some tough decisions. And how tight the belt has to be, how many tough decisions there are, frankly, is yet to be seen.
I have a follow-up on that. When you talk about we're fighting about we're going to see less money coming from Washington than we did under the Biden administration, how do you see the role of the Dan Gilberts and the Illiches and the Gary Torgos in terms of them maybe stepping up more, and at the same time people not feeling like you're selling out to the wealthy, people? How do you strike that balance at the same time, try to get them to give more?
So I think a couple of things. One, good corporate citizenship is a must. It's a good thing in any city, not just Detroit. And I think that business, philanthropy, nonprofit, they have to be partners in moving our city forward. What that looks like is going to be different, I believe, for each of those businesses, and it will be different based on what, if anything, they're seeking from the city.
And what kind of relationship do you have or hope to have with some of these big business people like Gilberts and the Illiches and, like I say, Gary Torgo and whoever else is making a mark in the city? What kind of relationship do you have, and what kind of relationship do you hope to have with them?
I have good relationships with some. Others, I don't have a bad relationship. They just weren't around when I was in city government. So we don't have a deep relationship. And the relationship will be one of mutual respect. I will be about building coalitions with the business community to help move our city forward. But I'll always balance that with what is in the best interest of the residents of the city of Detroit. It has to be mutually beneficial.
Go ahead, Vanessa.
Two things. One, we have a question from a viewer. They want to know if there's been a lot of conversation about doing a forensic audit, that kind of thing. This viewer is asking, do you plan to do an audit in particularly, or are you going to do an audit of each department within the city of Detroit? And then I'd like to go to some of the comments from our viewers.
Okay.
Thank you. So the city has regular audits. They're required to have regular audits. A forensic audit is an audit that is used if you suspect fraud or criminal activity. That's when you have a forensic audit. So if I got in the city and there were some indications of fraud or criminal activity, then I'd ask for a forensic audit. But that's the only time you use a forensic audit. What I would do day one is have a revenue estimating conference so we can figure out, to Adolph's earlier point, how much, if any, we have to tighten our belts and have a realistic understanding of how much the city has, how much money the city has versus our liabilities.
Well, let's take a break. You come back, Vanessa, and you can read some of the comments. Okay. And we'll continue this show with mayoral candidate Saunteel Jenkins. And thanks for coming on at the last minute. I know your schedule is busy. Let's take a break.
Happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabria, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Welcome back to Detroit in Black and White. Our guest today is, or this evening, is Saunteel Jenkins. Vanessa, you're going to read some comments from some of our viewers.
Yes. Ira Todd says, great interview and great answers. Thanks for the service. Dwayla Boy said, hello all. Candace McCrae does have a question. You have a few questions here. Candace McCrae said, do you have any ideas on who you would have on your team, deputy mayor, heads of departments, etc.?
No, I do not. At this point, I think it would be a little premature. I will say there are some people in the city that I believe are doing a good job that I would try to keep, but I have not put a team together. Right now I'm focused on getting through the primary and winning this primary.
Would that be
Don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Right.
Let me ask you, Saunteel, how about the police chief? When you talk about people you might keep, is he on that list, or would you be looking for someone else?
I think Chief Bettionson is doing a good job. So yes, he would be on that list.
Willis Martin says, will you lower or get rid of property taxes for homeowners? G Money Hollywood says, Ms. Jenkins, do you think that Detroit can regain a population of 1 million again? And do you think you can grow that under your tenure? If so, how? Keep in mind that you have 4 years with perhaps a second term.
Yes. So first, yes, we have to restructure property taxes. And in order to do it and lower our property taxes in any significant way, we will have to find revenue to replace it. Right now, it's about 20% of the city's revenue. If you add property taxes and income taxes, it's 40% of the city's revenue. So to have a substantial decrease in taxes, we have to increase our revenues. One new position I would have in the mayor's office is a chief growth officer. Their sole focus will be growing population and revenue and businesses in the city of Detroit. So to the 1 million mark, yes, I think we can get there. Do I think we could get there in 4 years? No, absolutely not. Maybe 8, if everything worked perfectly, we could get there in 8 years. But I do believe over time, we can get back to 1 million if we continue to grow our city, both organically from the inside out and then attracting new people and new businesses from the outside in.
How are you going to sell the school system to a family that want to move into the city, and they find a neighborhood they want to move, but schools is an issue, and they don't have the money to send their kids to a private school, even though they're paying taxes for a public school? As mayor, how would you work with the school system? Because I'm an advocate of the city should run the schools, but that's me. Yeah. Go ahead.
So I would definitely be working hand in hand with the schools. I would partner with the schools. But my vision is to have the Mary Grove model replicated across the city. And Mary Grove, as you all know, is a part of Detroit Public Schools Community District. They have an early childhood center, an elementary school, a middle school is coming. They have a high school with a 100% graduation rate. So we should replicate this model because we know it works. It's working. It won't be on a college campus in 7 districts because we don't have 7 college campuses, but we do have 20%, 25% of the city's land that's vacant. So we have enough vacant land to create that kind of educational, hub in each of the 7 districts.
Why, if we can do that with one school, why can't we do that with 10 schools? Why it always got to be, we got 5 schools, everybody trying to get their kid into Detroit, and yet if you got 5 schools, why can't you have 25 schools?
Well, we would start with 7, 1 in each of the 7 districts. The goal absolutely is to replicate my goal, but I don't control the schools, and I'm okay with that. We can partner with the schools. And I know you believe the mayor should control the schools.
Because they answer to nobody. Who do they answer to? They don't answer to the people that elect them. So who do they answer to?
Don't demand that they answer to them. Let's be fair.
Right.
The people are not demanding that the school board members be accountable and that they hold the superintendent accountable. Now, I do think that the mayor of the city of Detroit, and I think I heard yesterday, saw that the city charter says that the mayor is supposed to work in partnership or in tandem with the public school system. I think you could use it as a bully pulpit to get to get that done. But I think that, I mean, look, the reality is we got this election coming up in a couple of weeks, and Adolph was just talking about the number of absentee ballots that went out and how many have returned. These are people who don't hold their elected officials accountable. There's a few of us, those of us that's on Detroit in black and white, those people who show up at the city council meetings, those few people who show up at the forums. Those are the people that are asking people to be accountable, but the general public, no, absolutely not.
Okay, Saunteel.
No, I agree with that. We have to hold them accountable, but you're right. Who you could ask that question about any elected official. Who's holding them accountable, not just the school boards. I believe because the school board is responsible for our future, literally, our children, we should be more involved. I think there should be more folks showing up at school board meetings than there are city council meetings. But as a community, we haven't made it a priority. It's not just, one certain demographic. As a community, we have not made education and our board of education a priority. And the mayor can change that. He can have a huge part in changing the culture of education in the city of Detroit.
You had a thought. Did that prepare you to deal with the serious problems that we got in Detroit? Homelessness, people don't have lights, water. We got a lot of people living in the dark. A lot of people don't have enough to eat and stuff.
Absolutely.
And you dealt with. How long were you at Thaw?
I was at Thaw for over 10 years.
Okay, so
it was 10 years in November.
Do you think that prepared you to come in and deal with those kind of problems that the city is going through? Because we only see in the media, we only see one side of the city. Everything is popping downtown and Corktown and the rest of these towns, but you never really get a good insight into what's happening in the real neighborhoods.
Yeah,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. No. I think my entire life has prepared me for this. Yes, my 10.5 years as CEO of a multi-million-dollar nonprofit that was not only serving Detroiters, but we served every one of the 83 counties in the state of Michigan. And we served them well. We were fiscally responsible. I was able to build out new programs. And it prepared me for some parts of the job. I think it prepared me well. But the other thing that has prepared me, I think being able to combine my CEO experience with my legislative experience and my experience in education, and having a small business, all of those things combined make me the most prepared and qualified candidate in this race.
What did you learn from being on the city council, looking at the mayor, dealing with the mayor? What was it that you thought, I can do better, or I can do at least as good?
I think one of the things, the way I ran my office and my approach to being a council member was I had my hand on the pulse of the people. I was constantly in communication with people. I was never disconnected, and I was out there building coalitions to get things done. I think that over the years, as I've watched different mayors, between my time in Marianne Mahaffey's office and my time serving, it's easy to become disconnected and lose touch with the people.
Of all the mayors that we've had, is there one that you most closely would like to emulate?
Certainly, there are many things about Coleman that I would like to emulate. His leadership style, his ability to bring people together for the good of Detroit, his ability to get out the vote. I think he was a pioneer in many ways. I think Dennis Archer was a judicious mayor. He always conducted himself like a statesman. We were never, I don't think any of us were ever worried about being embarrassed by something in that administration. It's Dave Bing, I appreciated his business background and acumen that he brought to it. Even Kwame had some things that Kwame had the ability to walk into any room and feel the space, right? He was smart. He just was misguided.
Greedy.
Yeah, greedy.
Greedy. He was greedy.
So we have a few more because you got quite a few questions. A lot of people are participating, so I'm going to try to go through them. Ashley River, I think this is an important question. She said, how do we donate to her campaign? Our communities need to learn tax rules. Our 18-year-old should have an EIN by 21, so she wants to know how she can donate.
I love it. You can go to SaunteelJenkins.com, and can I put it in the chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Teresa could put it in the chat for you. Say it again.
SaunteelJenkins.com.
Okay, let me see.
Okay. Good.
And donate. And thank you. Every dollar makes a difference. So thank you.
What do you make of the polls? I don't know if you saw the poll by Ed Sarpolis, where you've risen. You were kind of stagnating for a little while in the other polls, and now you've kind of skyrocketed. What do you attribute that to?
Hard work. Hard work. We've been, building our campaign from the ground up. We've been out there talking to people. I've been on the go since 7 a.m. this morning. This is my 9th stop for the day, and I have one more after this. So nobody's going to outwork me. You might outraise me, but nobody's going to outwork me. So, and I connect with voters. When voters hear my message, when I have an opportunity to get in front of voters, I was rushing here from a meet and greet downtown with voters. So that's what I make of the polls. I think that the hard work is paying off. I also think that people are distinguishing the sizzle from the state. There's a lot of sort of flash and pizzazz and, shiny lights and bright things out there. But then when you look closely, you start to see where there's substance and where there isn't.
Well, I call it the studio effect. I say, you can take me, put me in a studio, make me sound like what Otis Redding. But
Well,
if I get out in public on a stage,
And you
I
sound
don't
like
have.
Otis Johnson.
Yeah, no,
it sounds like he said some people have filters.
right, right.
That's what it sounds like he said. I'm not
like,
saying that's what he said, but that's what it sounds like.
Right.
you sound like you can be on a street corner singing with no background music and sound great. Some people need the studio, an orchestra, etc., and somebody playing with some machine to make them sound good. So you absolutely right. Go ahead, Vanessa.
So I'm going to try to go through a series of them. So just
Okay,
keep
go
up.
ahead.
Okay. Karen Winston says far too many tax is thanks, Karen. Karen Winston says far too many tax abatements are given away for too many years. Mr. 1213 said, what will you do to keep plants such as Pepsi from picking up and leaving Detroit? We also have G Money Hollywood says, how are you going to cut the red tape? Please articulate your plan. How would you accomplish that? It sounds like you have not yet figured that out. I do like that you do want to implement one. We also have Mr. Duckett. He said, good evening. He's talking about he's hosting an event for one of the other mayoral candidates, and he's inviting everybody out. Mr. 1213 said it's hard to view some of these forums online. The one that Saturday that you participated in, I did the best I could with my, trying to show what I could. Candace McCrae says she was choosing between you and Durhal, but ultimately chose Durhal. She respects you though. Kenneth Reed said, "What's up, Miss Jenkins?" And of course, G Money says he disagreed with you, Adolph. He thinks that Mary's going to take it for the win. She's going to go all the way.
Well, that's why we got elections.
Yeah,
He can think that.
Right.
But
yeah.
I
The
don't
most
think
important poll is election day.
that
Right.
you're absolutely right.
So, but yeah, I just want to make sure that I acknowledge Edward A. Say good evening. It was another question on here that I thought was important. All the comments are important. Power Org says Detroit is no longer a manufacturer's economy unless Trump delivers on his promise to restore it. Meanwhile, we currently have a service economy, which 77% of Detroit's population have been systemically shut out from the service economy careers and professions, i.e., no homegrown doctors, allied health professionals, and lawyers. With that said, what is mayoral candidate Saunteel Jenkins' plan to address this?
Okay.
I'm just reading the question again. Actually, I would disagree with that. We do have homegrown doctors and lawyers and professionals. Right? Yes, we have many of them. Exactly. We don't have enough. We have to make Detroit a place where our kids get educated and then they come back home to serve, where more of our kids do that. So, and we do that by making this a place where everybody can build a life where they thrive, where it's affordable, where it's safe, where their kids can go to school. That's how we get more homegrown doctors, lawyers, engineers, teachers. All of the above is by making Detroit a place where people want to be and where they can build a life.
How do we make home ownership a priority? At the height of segregation and discrimination, Black folks in Detroit in the 50s and the 60s had the highest home ownership in the country. Now you look at people struggling just to rent. How do we get back to? And I know we had all the plants and all that, but how do we get
we had
20,
the plants,
30%?
we had the plants, we had lower interest rates, we had more first-time home owner programs. So one of my plans for housing is to utilize affordable housing bonds to build more affordable homes for purchase as well as affordable homes for rent. But we could also use that funding, and we would use that funding for down payment assistance to help first-time homeowners actually purchase a home. We will also utilize it for land bank homes that people are buying to help them rehab those homes as well to increase home ownership across the city.
Any more questions?
Kenneth Reed, and there's been a lot of conversation about this that the builders do, and you talked a little bit about it, the pension obligation payment that's coming up.
Mhm.
Mr. Reed is asking, what is the plan? And then there's also another question is, what grade would you give Keisha Lance Bottoms as mayor when she ran the city of Atlanta? And before you respond by saying that she doesn't know or support Atlanta, Georgia politics, let's not forget that it is alleged that she owns a home in Atlanta.
It's not alleged. I own a home in Georgia.
Right. Okay. I don't
It's not
know.
alleged. I own a home in
I
Georgia.
don't know what that's about, but he asked a question. So,
Yeah. And so I like Keisha Lance Bottoms, but I don't live in Atlanta, and I don't follow Atlanta politics enough to know to be able to give her a grade and say she did a great job or an okay job. But based on what I saw of her, I liked her.
Okay.
I
And
like
what's your
the daddy too. He could
obligation?
say,
What's your plan for the pension obligation payment?
So the plan for the pension obligation payments is it's really simple. We have to be fiscally responsible and pay the pensions. There is a retirement protection fund that's set up. It's about $350 million, but our pension payments will be $136 to $156 million every year. That protection fund is only meant to supplement the payments that the city is making. So the reality is, as I think you said, or somebody said, the bill is due,
Yeah.
and we will have to manage our budget just like we all have to manage our household budget to make those payments. There is no magic bullet. All the magic will be gone
Right.
next year.
Right.
So
There's another.
isn't it an elected official a responsibility if they sit on some kind of board that they have a responsibility to follow whatever is going on with that board instead of saying it's a ceremonial post and I was just playing. You know, if you accept a position somewhere, don't you work hard to make sure that you're doing a good job?
As a former nonprofit leader, it's offensive to me for anybody to say a seat on a nonprofit board is ceremonial, right? Nonprofits can only function well with boards that function well. They are the governing body, and they have fiduciary responsibilities. Now, do things happen in nonprofits that board members don't always know about? I think that is definitely possible. But for you to say it's ceremonial or you didn't know because you hadn't been to a meeting in a long time, I just think is, it's shirking your responsibility.
And I'm not putting words in your mouth. I will say that one of the candidates did say that I don't think that I should take responsibility, and then talked about the president of the board, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, are you his lawyer or whatever? I think you need to take responsibility or not take responsibility for your actions. And I think most people do. I mean, you could say, hey, look, it happened on my watch. I missed it. My bad. We all make mistakes, but I just thought that was irresponsible. But that's my own personal opinion. That doesn't mean I don't like that individual or anything like that. I thought it was irresponsible, especially since you hold a political office. Here's another question, because a lot of people have been talking about this, and in previous administrations, this was talked about. I think that's one of the reasons why Fred Durhal ended up on city council. But anyway, do you have a plan to partner with insurance companies and the state to bring car insurance down considerably so that it favors the average citizen in a competitive way? And how would you fight it?
So I would certainly work with legislators in Lansing to fight for better insurance laws that would reduce the insurance in the state of Michigan. I haven't met an insurance company or heard of an insurance company that would want to partner to lower insurance rates. The insurance industry is a very powerful industry in the state of Michigan, and they are like most people in power. It is not seated without a fight. So yes, I would be willing and ready to fight in Lansing to lower our insurance rates in the city of Detroit.
Allan, go ahead before we take a break.
About the insurance, it's interesting. I was paying at one point almost $5,000 a year. And I changed to Progressive, which gave me a great like $2,000. And and when I talked to my insurance agent who was in Royal Oak, and I said, how is it that I'm paying? Why am I paying so much? I said, I have secure parking. I have, I don't use my car much during the week. I took the bus and the queue line to the office. And she was like going, well, there's a lot of people who are uninsured in the city of Detroit. And I go, well, of course, because the rates are so outrageous,
Exactly.
Everybody would be uninsured in the whole metropolitan area if they were paying those rates. And I said, what's the difference if I lived in Royal Oak and commuted to Detroit and I was exposed to the same drivers who don't have insurance?
Mhm.
And she didn't have an answer. It's sort of dumbfounding.
It's just redlining. It is flat out redlining.
And how do we, it's discriminatory in a way. The people in the suburbs who come in every day to work in the law firms or wherever they're, work at Rocket Mortgage, they're exposed to the same drivers who have no car insurance.
That's right.
And again, a lot of people don't have a car insurance because it's so outrageous they can't afford it.
That's right.
And I don't know what's.
Well, we hear about redlining all the time, but it seems like nobody can do squat with it. Let's take a break. We come back and we'll continue this interview with mayoral candidate Saunteel Jenkins. Thank you once again for coming on and telling us your vision for the city of Detroit if you're elected mayor. Let's take a break.
For having me.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. Are you living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, or maybe you know someone who's in the same situation? The probate process may be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. We have several nonprofit partners who have free attorneys who can assist you. Contact our office, 313-224-5990, or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. Don't lose your family property. Some of these properties have been in the family for 4 or 5 generations. Contact us now. We're here to help.
Well, welcome back to Detroit in Black and White. Vanessa Moss and Allan Lengel. We got a mayoral candidate, Saunteel Jenkins. The top 5 problems that when you get elected, because I'm moving forward.
I like it.
What is the top 5 problems that this city faces in the next 4 or 5 years? Your view.
It's neighborhoods, making sure that we are addressing, making neighborhoods more beautiful and affordable. Affordable housing is definitely a top priority, and it's utilizing those bonds. And we have to create affordable housing, I keep saying, at every income level, first of all, because often when we talk about affordable housing, we talk about deeply affordable housing for our lowest income families, and we need that. But we also need affordable housing for teachers and bus drivers. We need affordable housing for people who just finished college and they're starting a family, or seniors that are retired and on a fixed income. So affordable means different things for different people, and it has to account for the different stages of life that people are in. So affordable housing to address the homeless issues across the city of Detroit. Guns, 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 guns. We have to get these guns off the street. Parents should not continue to have to bury their children because of gun violence in the city of Detroit.
You know, I just look at me, Vanessa, and you. We all got something in common that we don't want to have in common. Vanessa lost a brother, you lost a brother, and I lost a brother to gun violence. How do we take the guns out of these kids' hands?
Yes. Well, a couple things. My plan is to create a multi-jurisdictional task force that is focused on getting guns off the streets and reducing gun violence across the city of Detroit. Every level of government, except for federal government at this point, because that might make it more dangerous for our kids, not less dangerous, right? But state, county, partner with DPSCD, Wayne State Police, U of D police, every policing jurisdiction in this city should be a part of helping us get guns off the street and make our city safer. But also, it's about providing better opportunities for our young people so that they have some good options and some hope for their future. If we're only giving bad options to kids, we can't be mad when they make a bad choice. So part of that school partnership that I talked about is creating safe spaces and places in the city of Detroit between the hours of 3 p.m. and 8 p.m., because those are the most dangerous hours of the day for kids, when kids are most likely to be victimized or to victimize somebody.
We have had agencies, we've had multi-jurisdictional, including ATF, DEA, and stuff like that. Are you ruling out including the federal agencies who have a lot of resources to help, particularly ATF, which deals with illegal guns, DEA, which deals with drugs, where guns kind of go hand in hand? Are you dismissing, or do you not want the federal government involved? Or
I am not dismissing them, but it would have to, but the controlling parties in DC would have to be a consideration. If we involved the federal agencies, and when I was on council, I was a part of the task force that Barbara McQuaid created to reduce youth violence. So I think you're right, it can be very effective, but only if the federal agencies have the same goals as you and mine. I'm not sure, and we would have to know and have some guarantees that our goals are the same.
So we have a few more comments. So one, Deborah Harris, thank you so much for watching Detroit in Black and White. She says she likes your experience with thaw and other things concerning the city of Detroit. She said that we need programs to fix seniors' porches. Informing the community said, define affordable housing bonds. Are you talking about tax exempt bonds? Please explain it in depth. And G Money says, in order to get more homeowners, is that you have to build relationships with banks and mortgage institutions. There are a lot of people in the suburbs who do not have great credit, but they are able to still buy a home.
Okay, so where will we start? I will start with the affordable housing bonds. They are municipal bonds that the city would be able to get. We would be able to utilize our credit rating, and the city has done this for years. We haven't done it in many years. Well, we hadn't done it in many years because we had such a bad credit rating that it would have been very expensive for us to utilize municipal bonds. But in I think 2015, the voters passed Prop N, which was bonds were used in Prop Ns to fight blight in the city of Detroit. If you all recall, the city just announced that they tore down 8,000 houses. We passed a bond proposal for $250 million in the city of Detroit. That's how all the houses got torn down. So we would do the same thing for housing. And no, I called it what it is, affordable housing bonds. And we would utilize that revenue to reduce the upfront cost for building housing so that it's more affordable on the back end. The revenue could also be used, again, for down payment assistance. It could be used to build homes for ownership as well as rental, affordable rental housing. And it can be used to build permanent supportive housing as well.
Okay, we run out of time. We give you your final thought on your campaign, and how do if somebody wants to join your campaign and work the last couple of weeks or donate some money, give us that information.
Yes, thank you for asking. So it is go to SaunteelJenkins.com and you can do all of the above. You can sign up to be a volunteer, come out and walk with us, knock doors. You can do phone banking. You can make a donation that will help get us through this primary. I am running for mayor because I want to continue to make a difference in the city of Detroit. I am the most qualified candidate on this ballot. I'm the only one with more than 10 years of legislative experience and more than 10 years of CEO experience. I'm the only one who has started and owned a small business, worked in for-profit, nonprofit, education, and government. And I will be prepared on day one to move this city forward in good times and challenging times. And we do have some challenging times ahead of us.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
On August the 5th.
Yes, thank you.
It's gonna be a nail biter, and this is me talking. I won't be surprised at what would take place in that primary. Allan, real quickly.
Any of us will be.
I was just curious, and you don't have to give me a name or anything. Is there any of the candidates running who you might say they'd be a good person on my staff if I'm mayor, deputy mayor, chief of staff? Is there anyone that?
Yes, there are some. I think that there are some smart people running in this race. I just happen to believe that I am the most qualified and experienced and prepared. But yes, there are some folks in this race that I would love to have an opportunity to work with if I become our next mayor.
Well,
And I am planning and working to make sure that that happens.
Well,
Good
thank
luck.
you, Ms.
Thank you.
Jenkins.
Thank
We'll
you.
be talking to you, and hopefully we'll be talking to you after the primary.
That's
and
right.
Continue your quest to become the first
Yes.
Woman.
mayor. And
Yes.
you know, love it. You
Yes.
know,
Thank you.
okay.
When
Thank
when I'm asking all of your viewers when you go out to vote, just keep thinking Jenkins.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
So goodbye.
Thank you
Before
all.
we go, I want to tell everybody that we had a lot of comments tonight. We weren't able to get to all the comments. Kenneth Free, LCA 78, G Money Hollywood, Par Org, Zardwe, Jill Sheridan, Deborah Harris, Informing the Community, Stephen Jackson, Kenneth Reed, Willis Martin. We also had Karen Winston, Edward A., Dewayla Boyce, Ira Todd, Candace McCrae, Ashley, Mr. Mr. 1213. I want to tell, and Mr. Duckett, I want to tell everybody, thank you so much for watching Detroit in Black and White.
She was a good interview.
Yeah. If you guys have any more questions for candidate Saunteel Jenkins, she'll be on Detroit in Black and White presents Reality Strikes, which is Eric Brown is the host. That's Monday evening. She's going to be a guest on his show Monday evening. So if you guys have any more questions, or if your question that you asked here was not answered tonight, you can follow up on Monday night at 8:30. Again, thank you guys so much. Like, subscribe, and share. Come back and join us on Friday evening at 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. and then again Saturday.
I'm thinking the day is Friday. I'm lost.
No, you know what? I was thinking today is Thursday, but it's actually Wednesday. So.
Well, I'm getting old. Anyway, thanks, Allan. Thanks,
thank you.
Vanessa,
yes.
Teresa, Jim, and thanks, Saunteel Jenkins, mayoral candidate, and thanks to all the people that took time out from their evening to listen to us bullshit a lot. But the night was, I think we had a nice little interview, and I see why a lot of folks like her. You know, she can answer those questions. We'll see you Friday. Come back.